Your husband walks through the door and he doesn't say anything. He just walks right past you. And all of a sudden, you're upset. You feel hurt. So let's walk through what just happened. So hubby doesn't say hello. You can use any person in your life. But so hubby doesn't say hello. Destabilization happens. And so a feeling hurt, and rejection, concern, all that, something shifts for you. And then the programmed reaction, we're now talking about the stability spiral, the programmed reactor, and the programmed reaction. So that is, the stories begin. And it's like, he must be upset with me. He doesn't love me. What did I do wrong? I'm thinking of all the things I wrote here. He must be upset with me. I already said that, but I wanted to say it again. And then so now there's more pressure. And you withdraw. Or you snap, getting really angry. Or you become cold. More destabilization. This is the spiral downward, okay? Now the relationship tension becomes real. Like now it's real. The spiral is running down. So then awareness, pause. We talk about that. What if nothing is wrong? You ask yourself, what if nothing is wrong? What if you're simply watching the programmed reactor take over? You've just seen that happen. So microstability. One breath, one pause, something for you to regain capacity, one question maybe. What could be true about this? What might else be true? Because maybe I'm just telling myself stories, okay? Capacity now returns. This is now that pause, you interrupted the brain, and now you're spiraling up. Now you're the internal operator, not you, but the state. Now you're putting yourself in the state of the internal operator, not spiraling down as the programmed reactor. And it's like now clarity or capacity, and now you have a little space and you have some clarity, and it's like, maybe he had a rough day. Maybe he got some news that he's focused on that, and maybe he's distracted with something else. And then maybe nothing is wrong at all. But look at that example, and just how the stories begin, and now you have choice. Now you have that same moment, and it's like now you can choose. And hey, honey, you seem quiet today. Is everything okay? And then it's like the internal operator, the same moment, and a completely different outcome. I wanted to share that because that stability spiral is nothing to pshaw at. It's incredibly empowering. So what's happening is you're no longer overreacting. It's literally, you're examining the moment that the spiral, downward spiral, the programmed reactor, that state started. And that, for anyone who gets it and understands, it was my journey when Steve passed, feeling so destabilized before he passed. It was such a destabilizating time in my life. I felt like I was just not even just off, but what is happening? I was out of my element, into the Western medicine hospitals, and then even the long-term care, because we got into a lower, and then just in the system, a system where it's not something that where I would choose to be. And so it was overwhelming, that in and of itself. And I think anyone, even if that would be a choice of where you would go to do things, to take care of your health, that would be, I think it's very destabilizing. I don't know why I'm saying I think that. I met so many peeparoos there that had their spouse, some had a child, but mostly it was a spouse. And it was a husband or a wife. And there they were. And they were completely destabilized, completely dependent upon the doctors and the medical system, and completely coming from a place of like just not knowing what to do, destabilized. It was just a complete, no normalcy whatsoever. So this is where it shows up in real life. And so in more places, some examples for you, a friend doesn't text back when you think they should, when you have the expectation that they should have already texted back, especially if they have like read, like it tells you it was read, or, and you can see that they read it. And so all of a sudden, what is that? Or a friend, a spouse, anyone, and a child, a bill arrives unexpectedly, someone criticizes you, your child ignores you, you feel off for no reason, you make a mistake. Walk the spiral. Understand the stability spiral. And that is going to help you to see, to be able to say, now that's a stability moment. That's a stability moment. That's a stability moment. You'll be able to, your kid ignored you. That's a stability moment. I have a choice. I can spiral. I can get really pissy. I can get upset. I can be hurt. Just like the first example, the husband walking past, gets home, quiet. And that literally, like all of those things, that he just barely says hello. And all of a sudden the stories start. And how often has something like that happened? And it was something totally different, had nothing to do with you, and everything to do with what was happening in his life, which is pretty typical, because most people are not focused on you or me. They're focused on their life and what's happening in their life. And so it's kind of interesting, these daily stability moments that we do, because that would be a stability moment. When something happens, it's like to look at it and say, that's a stability moment. And that is so empowering versus disempowering. Disempowering, a disempowered position would be the state of the programmed reactor that is literally upset, is hurt, triggered, and then the story starts. So they're destabilized, and then there's more pressure. So there's pressure, right? For our example, hubby walks past, barely says hello, and you have no idea what's going on. So a disempowered position with the spiral, the stability spiral, spiraling down, would be what we just said. And so there's pressure. All of a sudden, what's going on? Something's off. The brain is like, that's not a pattern that I'm used to. And so there's what's going on. And then you have the destabilization. And then you start having the stories, or whatever, a programmed reaction. And then there's more pressure that creates more pressure, more destabilization. Can you see how that spirals? The state of the internal operator is taking that pause and recognizing that maybe something that other than these stories that I'm telling myself, I could be totally off. There's something else happening. And so maybe I could just be compassionate and just say, hey, babe, you seem a little quiet today. Everything okay? And all of a sudden, there's no more stories. There's no more, I mean, it could go worse. But do you see what the outcome of that, where you're coming from an empowered position? So that's the story. That is walking the spiral and understanding like how you can use that in your life as a tool to stop the cortisol and adrenaline from flooding your body when the stories start. In my course, which is 6 weeks to stability and empowerment, it's all about the 3 pillars. So the 3 pillars are stabilize. So stabilize your nervous system, your heart, especially if you could go brain-heart coherence, and the gut, that's all going to follow. So it's not just it's a holistic approach. It's not just the nervous system. But if the nervous system gets triggered, then you've got chemistry happening. I mean, you always have chemistry happening. You always have biology happening. You have all kinds of things happening. But my point is to assist in survival mode, that low-grade inflammation that I call it, low-grade destabilization, and creating those microstabilities so that it brings capacity by just telling yourself, like taking a breath maybe, or just or just going into an empowered position and say, maybe these things that I'm telling myself, maybe it's not about me. Maybe it's about him, and he has, and there's something going on with him, and a shift in, it's not all about me, because we come from, with them, what's in it for me? Always, mostly always, most of the time. And so that WIFM, what's in it for me? And then when what, like your hubby coming in and saying, oh, my baby, I missed you so mucho today, and I've been thinking about you all day, and oh, I've got flowers for you out, and think about all the things that we could think as a spouse or as a partner, and then all of a sudden it's just shot down. I think especially if you made dinner and you had different ideas about how it would be. What's in it for me? You're thinking about, I'm thinking about me. And so that reaction did not go with the plan that I had. And I want to be comfortable. So step up, mister. Tell me what's wrong with you so that I can be comfortable again. We do that. We do that. We do not like to be uncomfortable. We want to feel stable. We want to feel loved. We want to feel like everything is fine. So that is just an example that I wanted to share with you, because that every single time that something happens and you could just say to yourself, that's a stability moment. That's a stability moment. By the way, you can download that PDF. It's totally free to download, and it's 5 pages. Has the spiral, and then it explains it, and it has the 2 states of the internal, the programmed reactor and the internal operator. The programmed reactor and the internal operator, yes, and the internal operator, yeah, thumbs up, but spiraling up, taking control, in control of their internal environment, and choosing to come from capacity, restoring capacity. What I teach, and I was talking about this yesterday, what I teach, what I share, what I have learned is that when you restore capacity, you can then you can then move from an empowered position. When you have no more capacity and you're up to here, and you're tired, and you can't take anymore, and it's over. It's like no more, can't deal with it, all of that. And when that state, when someone is in that state, then all bets are off, as far as, like, you cannot have a conversation with someone like that, because now they're coming from programming, from like the 95% in the subconscious, and they're coming from, I mean, you think about a fight, 2 people in an argument, and each one trying to get the other one to hear them and their point and how they've been hurt or how they've been betrayed, or and they're trying to say it and the other person is like is doing the same thing, and it's just like they just hit, boom, boom, boom. No one's listening to the other one. No one, each one is like, here, capacity, no capacity. And can you imagine if everyone would literally say, now that's a stability moment. I'm starting to spiral down. I'm starting to spiral out of control. That state of the programmed reactor, I don't want to go there. Like, it's no fun to be in that state. So as uncomfortable as this is, that's a stability moment. And the more that, the thing is, we're not going to think like that. Actually, I did. But I did because I kept trying to understand it. And because, and it's not challenging to think like that. Once you start thinking about, like, that's a stability moment, all of a sudden it starts becoming a habit. The more you say it, the more you say, that's a stability moment. And that right there is that pause, and it gives you that second of the brain to disrupt the brain from just spiraling, from going to the subconscious, and from accessing the programs that are for survival, or just the ones that are the default at this point. And then always know that you can rewire for 30 days free in the app. And you will know in 30 days, you will know whether you're going to continue to pay, if you're going to start paying $19.99 a month. You can have 6 peeparoos on it, not my app. But there's that app is so incredibly empowering. So the stability spiral is there. I started talking about my course, 6 weeks to stability and empowerment. Stabilize, rewire, empower. Stabilize holistically the nervous system, and it is stabilize the nervous system. But when you do that, then now you have intuition, now you have clarity, you stabilize, and it's the whole stability spiral. So you are restoring access to the whole of you, your executive, like all of your brain, that sees opportunities and options, and you're restoring access to all of that. The second pillar is rewire, and I go like this, like I'm crazy, but it's it's rewire. You're putting in your input equals your output. So the correct input, meaning you choose the quality of your programming that you repeat. That's neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire until you take your last breath, so that those neurons, they create new neural pathways so that they wire and they fire together for living a quality life, for choosing to stabilize rather than feeling destabilized. You can feel destabilized. You can go through emotions. It's very importante to feel the emotions and not stop yourself. But there are times when you would prefer to be in charge and not just, it's like, why did I say that? Why did I do that? Why did I hang up on that person? Why was I so awful? Why was I such a biatch? And if you could take it back, you would. But you can't. And so in those moments, when you know that would not serve you, just think about the hubby walks past you and barely even says hello. And all the things that I said, you automatically, there's something wrong with me, he's upset with me, I did something, he's a piece of crap tonight, whatever it is. That was really rude, I'll show him. Or, and then you get cold, or you like any of those things, not you, but this is the example. But any of those things. And then, or it's like, that's a stability moment. I'm starting to spiral. I'm starting to tell stories. So in module 3, I talk about the stories of in 6 weeks to stability and empowerment. Because when you can stabilize first, that gives you the capacity to handle things. It doesn't change that you're lifing, life is happening, you're lifing. That's just the way it is. And you're going to have challenges because life, planet Earth, is experiences. You get to choose how the outcome. The spouse walks past, the hubby walks past and barely says hello, and you could get angry and cold and say, I'm not going to serve him dinner tonight. I'm just going to bed. I'm going to turn on the television and I'm going to ignore him, or whatever. And then or you can choose the state of the internal operator and say, man, there's something going on with him. He's got something else with him. Like, he also has WIFM on his forehead. What's in it for me? You have WIFM. Maybe it's WIFM, but with him. Steve and I, my hubby, for years, we used to always say with him. Like, we'd always in our business, because we always knew that whoever we were talking to, it's like, what's in it for me? And we all go around like that. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's like, it's discernment. It's like, do I want to spend my time with this person? Do I want to listen to that when I have all these other things to do? It's that kind of thing. There's nothing, it's not a negative, it's actually a positive if you have WIFM across your forehead and you know it. Your children have WIFM, you have WIFM, I have WIFM, we all have what's in it for me. We all do. That's just the way it is. Maybe if you're, if even if you're a people pleaser, it's like you don't want somebody to be angry with you. WIFM, what's in it for me? Peace. WIFM, what's in it for me? Not having anybody come after me, say anything mean. Approval, external approval. Like, no matter what, there's a payoff. No matter what. And it's what's in it for me. Steve and I lived like that for so long. and there was a time when I started doing all this work that I literally, that kind of went out of because I wasn't working in the day-to-day just with my clients and things. And it came back to me when it's always right there, but now it's like so strongly in front of me. No matter who I see or what, it's like, even the dog is so obvious, like, what's in it for me? Doot, doot, doot. Is there a treat? Do I get a pet? Do I get to be with you? There's a payoff. So anyway, that's the stability spiral. I hope that was helpful, because it's transformational. It's a tool. There are many, many tools you can use, but this tool restores access to the whole of you, to your brain, to your nervous system. Oops, I hit that. I think I got pine sap on me or something. And your intuition, so your gut. You just restore access to the wisdom that you hold within. So you're still lifing, but now there's peace around it. It's easier to maneuver rather than the emotions that are clash, clash, clash. Even for yourself, like, what you resist persists, because there's an energy field. And so the more you push away, the stronger that other force becomes. Like, you put more power into it. It's like when I don't want to think about it. I don't want to think about it. That's awful. That's all you can think about. Why? Because you're putting your focus on that, on what you don't want. So switch it to what you do want. And I'm telling you right now, rewire your brain with the programs that you choose, and that becomes, you become more about what you can do and what can be done. And so now it's easier to focus on what you want rather than what you don't want. So that energy doesn't have to be like, I don't want that. I don't want to look at that. I don't even want to hear that anymore. I don't want to be part of that. Or I can't stand that religion. I can't stand that person. I can't stand that anything. Like, I can't stand that show. I can't stand that music. Can you feel like the energy of that just by saying it? I can feel it. It's like, oh, I don't think I like that. But I moved away from that a long time ago. But I mean, when you don't have capacity, those are some of the things that happen. But literally, that the energy, like now you're focused where your thoughts go, your energy goes. Like literally, where your attention, your focused attention, then that's where your energy goes. And so you get more and more and more. Comes back, comes back. You cannot stop thinking about that because it's that, ah! And it gets worse and worse, and the stories start growing, and all of that. And that is in chapter 3 of my, I don't know if I even finished what I was telling you about that, but what did I charge for? I think it's $197 or $199 lifetime. It is that course. I created that course with my own destabilization. Lynette and I, we were just so destabilized with all of that, and the stability model that we lived through, that I created afterwards, what I've been talking about, the stability spiral, that didn't even come until after I created the course. I was still working through. I'm still exploring and researching and studying and trying to understand this access, because no matter what modality where they're teaching from, like the nervous system or emotional or even rewiring the brain, like coming from neuroplasticity, it doesn't matter where they're coming from, but do you have the capacity, like no matter what the modality is, do you have the capacity? Does a person have the capacity to take that in when they're destabilized? And that's why I look at everything and I think, I listen, I watch others that are teaching, and I really want to understand, and I dig deep. And my question is almost always, but when the external, I'm really going long again, I'm getting deep into these things, but the internal and the external motivator. So the external motivator is, call it a Tony Robbins or a Greg Braden or a Bruce Lipton or a Joe Hudson or anyone that's external. It's not you. It's not you internally. That's the external motivator. You watch the podcast, you go to the workshop, and Shad Helmstetter, I forgot to put my mentor in there, but external motivator. Uplifts, encourages, you learn, and then you get all these tools, and you have insights, and you're, yeah, I got this. And then external motivator goes home to his life, to his family, to her life, to her family, and your internal motivation marches home to your home and your family and your life. Now, all that rah and excitement and learning and everything, and any breakthroughs and all of that, I just always have this question: now what? How do you sustain that? And it used to be rewire your brain so that you can be, if you rewire your brain for the programs that you want, then you have the ability to, like, you're wired for success. You're wired with what you can do and what can be done, versus the opposite of what can't be done, meaning like, I don't have enough money to sustain this, I'm not good enough, only rich people can do that, I'll never make that kind of money. When you get home, before you're in your adrenaline, you're like, everything is like, and you're like, I got this. And then the external motivator goes home, internal motivator inside of you goes home. And so I used to think that rewiring the brain was the answer. Now I'm really starting to see that that's really importante. When you learn something, if you're not wired, if you haven't rewired your brain for what you can do and what can be done, and you got that, and you trust in yourself, and all of that, which is why I created a big part of why I created the 6 modules of 6 weeks to stability and empowerment, because once you're stabilized and you're rewiring the brain at the same time, and then you understand, like the drama triangle and the stories that you're telling, you understand that we are meaning makers. We make meaning. Hubby walks past, meaning, your brain, like, that's not a pattern I'm used to. What's wrong with him? What happened? Like, why is he not talking to me? And whatever your patterns are, the person's patterns. I say you just as a person. I'm not speaking to you, but it could be you. It could be me. In fact, many times it was me long ago. So I totally identify with some of these things. And so that what happens? Like, so now there's destabilization, and now where do you go from there? So that's, I just see that internal motivator, the one that says, I got this, I'm getting up, I'm going to do things today, I've got my goals, my priorities, I'm moving forward, I see my dream, I'm moving towards it, without all the what can't be done and what I can't do, all those programs. So that's the rewiring that helps, because that rewires, I'd say permanently, but it's lasting. It's lasting until you rewire it to something else, but it's lasting. Like, it's permanent unless you change it. Nothing's permanent because everything moves, but I mean, literally, you're rewiring with a program that is lasting, of what can be done and what you can do. And that's where you place your attention, where you place your focus, that your energy flows. And it is energy, and it's energy that can be measured. That's what happens. And this is why that the more that you resist something, it seems like it never goes away. It's like traffic, it's horrible. No matter where I am, there's always traffic. I hate traffic. And then what do you focus on? Traffic. And you're always in traffic. Are you manifesting traffic? Kind of. Literally, you're vibrating at that frequency. And so, but you've created the energy, and that's what you're seeing, because you're focused on it. That's where your energy is. So if you put your energy on building your business, or building your relationship, or having a child, or building a home, or becoming a chef, or making an amazing dinner, or something, but you're to creative, something that benefits you, and you're focused on that, what you can do, what can be done. You see the possibilities, the opportunities, rather than, can't do that, no, there's not enough of that, no, I will never have enough money, oh, I'm too shy, oh, I never remember names, I can't go to that because I'll embarrass myself, or that's looking at what's not possible, what can't be done. That's the other side. And so you rewire your brain with a healthy self-esteem, and then it's like you start focusing on what literally is a default. And that's my whole thing. I just really want to get people to default to what can be done and what they can do, and to always be able to come home to themselves, to the stabilized version of them, and to move through. Any other tools, that's fine. Use all the tools you want. But if you can come home to self and have full use of your brain, of your heart, that's not constricted, of your intuition, so your gut, without being constricted, and open up, it's a whole different world. And I work on that every single day. So I'm really grateful to you for listening to me. For those of you that choose to watch every once in a while, I really appreciate it, because this coming on every day helps me to say it. And as this is growing, and it is growing, like I'm literally seeing, I am literally creating a language, the language of human potential. I'm organizing it, I'm putting it together, and you will see it, I don't know what soon, but soon. And because if we can rewire our brains and know what we can do and what can be done, and that's the default, we default to that before the hubby walking past, or the spouse walking past, or whoever, and walking past you, and then it's all about you with them, Like, what's in it for me? Man, he's a piece of crap tonight. Or what happened? I must have done something, you know? And I had to have done something, and whatever it is, because it's with them. What's in it for me? I don't like that. What's in it for me? So anyway, I hope that was helpful. Just literally just walking that spiral, and it all roads lead back to the stability spiral with what I'm teaching, because what I've been seeing more and more, that it's not stabilizing, being from a stabilized position. It's access to self. It's access to the executive center in your brain. It's access to your heart is open. It's access. And if you can go into coherence with the brain and the heart, that's even better. But it's access, and access to your intuition, access to you. Come home to self without the constriction, the survival mode, all of that. And again, I'm not talking about a man with a gun or a man with a knife or a person. I'm not talking about actual survival or a tiger ready to jump on you and pounce. I'm talking about 99% of our lives where we are living in a perpetual state, most of us, a perpetual state of destabilization, what I call low-level inflammation, low-level destabilization. And so we just are a little off. We don't feel complete. We feel nervous, and our nervous system will just like somebody, claps or a dog barks or something, and we jump, or or we automatically blame someone for something, or some event, or a person, place, or thing, right? And that's not who we really are. It's just because we're not at peace. We're not restored to who we really are. And then when we are coming home to self, we are home, then that's when we're rewiring our brain for what we can do and what can be done, and that starts becoming our default. Then stabilization, and when we practice, the more you practice, that's repetition, that's neuroplasticity. And so then you become, like for me, it's like, that's a stability moment, that's a stability moment, that just happens now. It's just because I've been doing it for so long. Not so long, like about 6 months. 4 months? I think I released my 6 weeks of stability and empowerment in February. So like the end of February or sometime in February. But I've been doing it every single day. So you can see it doesn't take a long time to rewire your brain, to create a habit. A habit is a program. It's you repeat. That's the thought. The more you think, I'm not good enough, wow, how good have you gotten at not being good enough? And now the brain is just like, let me support you in you not being good enough, because that's the program. I'm here, I'm objective, and I'm going to support you. Whatever you repeat to me, and that becomes the strongest program, I'm here to support you in that. That's really how it works. Anyway, that's the story, and I'm done at almost 40 minutes. So if you're still with me, congratulations. I hope that you have learned something as you walk through this with me. I love my stability moments of just like 3 or 4 minutes or 7 minutes or something. I love those. But I'm really in the development state right now of this language that I'm creating and organizing and understanding, because I really just wanted to create the right self-talk to rewire the brain. And I thought, that's not enough. Like, that's not enough. So I'm in development mode, and it's been a long time coming. So it's definitely been over a year. Steve left planet Earth now 16 months, 15 months, maybe 16 months ago. And it was about 4 months before that, but just that feeling destabilized and just trying to find stability, trying to find normalcy where there wasn't any and never would be again. So I needed to go inside and understand like how to go inside so that that internal motivator, that internal operator was within. I could take it with me wherever I go, and now no one can take that away from me. And it's a skill, and you develop that skill. And the more that you do it, the more that you repeat, neuroplasticity. Plus, you have neurons in the brain that wire and fire to get in the brain. In the heart, like 40,000, some number like that, neurons, not the brain, the heart, the second brain. I actually think it's the first brain. But, and so you have those, and when you have access to your heart, and you have access to your brain, and you're in coherence, like literally they're working together, it's like, bliss, peace. And when there's a challenge, it's not like you just flow through things, but you also don't see things as, man, that's hard, that sucks. It's more like, okay, that's not fun, but I can figure that out. Let me start thinking about that. There's a whole different way. It's like, honey, you're tired. You look tired, or you know, he walks past and barely says hello, and it's like, you're a little quiet tonight. Is everything okay? And the difference to being really upset and all of that kind of stuff. So now I'm going back, but I wanted to come back to the example so you could understand that stability spiral and how all of this flows together. And I hope that was helpful. Okay, I love you very, very much. You can do, be, change, have, create, become absolutely anything. I believe in you. I know you can do this, just as I'm doing it. We're walking this walk together. We're talking the talk, but we're walking the walk. The more that we practice this, the better we get, the better we build the skill of stability, of creating capacity. Because that's really creating capacity so that we have access to self. It's pretty good, huh? It's pretty good. That's a good whiffum. What's in it for me? Woo! Stability, peace, coming at not having somebody. If you watched when I had the family, the person that's no longer in the family, but anyway, a person that came at me just telling me what a horrible person I am and how there's no more respect for me and all this, and I'm observing and thinking, wow, that's interesting. You're not even, like, your chest isn't tight, your heart's not beating, you're not in survival. What is this? And it was curiosity. And I'm so grateful for that person because I would have never known. I would have never known how much I've grown. But wouldn't you love to have that so that things don't, it's not that you're unflappable, but you're more unflappable. And there's peace, and there's a lot that happens with that. So anyway, thanks for being with me tonight. I love you so very, very much. So today is day 93 of our stability moments. So I know this was a long one, but they won't always be. Actually, they will be what they will be, because that's just the way they will be. I love you so very, very much. Oh, tomorrow is day 94, but today is 93 of Stability Moments. Thanks for joining me. See you tomorrow. Ciao.